Welcome to the Explainer. So today we are breaking down a really specific, totally personal experiment all about cellular health. We're going to be looking at a user's real day-to-day experience with Arbonne's NAD plus cellular energy and skin booster. Look, we all know the wellness space is literally flooded with these overnight miracle claims, right? But this source material is actually super compelling because it tracks structured, consistent use over a dedicated period of time. So let's just dive right into how this clinically studied formula actually impacted their daily rhythms. 2.5, that is the exact timeline for this review, 2.5 months. In a wellness world where we kind of always expect miracles in, 24 hours? Patience is usually the missing ingredient, right? I mean, we want results yesterday. But this reviewer actually committed to a genuine 75-day timeline. They gave their body the time it actually needs to integrate the supplement before evaluating any compounded physical results. So, what exactly happened after 2.5 months of consistent use? Well, right off the bat, the reviewer points out a major shift in their daily energy. You know that classic jittery caffeine feeling, right? You get that massive spike, your heart's racing, and then, boom, that inevitable, totally exhausting 3 p.m. crash. But the source material notes that this experience completely bypassed that nervous, over-caffeinated buzz. Instead, they reported a much more consistent energy. It allowed them to stay actively focused and productive literally the whole day without those draining spikes and crashes. And the benefits didn't just stop at internal energy. The reviewer also noted that their physical recovery felt improved, and it came with this really distinct external benefit. Their skin actually seemed brighter and healthier. Now, they are super quick to clarify that this change is subtle, okay? It's not some overnight transformation where you wake up looking like a completely different person. But it highlights such an important mechanic. When you stack healthy habits together over 2.5 months, those internal improvements actually begin to reflect outwardly. Which actually brings us to a really crucial quote directly from the source. They said, "This isn't about chasing youth." And honestly, that completely pivots the narrative for us. I mean, think about it. We see so many products marketed purely on the promise of turning back the clock or erasing every single wrinkle, basically just feeding into this superficial anti-aging panic. But by explicitly rejecting that framing, the reviewer shifts the focus toward a much deeper philosophy. It's really about respecting and supporting our bodies as we move through the different stages of life. And that philosophy, it aligns perfectly with a fundamental biological reality. Healthy aging starts at the cellular level. The reviewer explains that this entire process is, it's really all about microscopic support. To put it simply, as we age, our natural NAD+ levels inevitably decline. It is not a personal failing, guys. It is literally just a fact of human biology. Therefore, true, sustainable, healthy aging isn't going to come from some superficial topical fix. You absolutely have to actively address that internal cellular decline. So how do we address that decline? The Arbonne formula relies on something called Niagen. The source describes this as a clinically studied ingredient that is specifically utilized to replenish those dropping natural NAD+ levels. So it's not just a random blend of vitamins. It's a highly targeted mechanism that replaces what the body naturally loses over time. By replenishing those levels, Niagen acts kind of like a biological engine. It supports that healthy cellular aging, serving as the actual scientific how behind the steady energy and the brighter skin we talked about. Okay, so bringing all these puzzle pieces together, we can really see the big picture of this reviewer's journey. It all started with a patient 2.5-month commitment, and that patience yielded more consistent energy and brighter looking skin. But more than that, it reinforced this deeper realization that healthy aging really does start at the cellular level, moving us entirely away from that whole idea of just chasing youth. Ultimately, the reviewer notes that taking this booster has just become a seamless daily wellness habit for them. It's an easy addition to their routine that actively, genuinely invests in their future health. Which brings us to a final thought I want to leave you with today. Ask yourself, are your daily routines just keeping you awake, or are they truly investing in your cellular future? It is a pretty profound distinction when you think about it. We can rely on jittery caffeine just to blindly survive the afternoon, or we can look at the biology of our declining NAD+ levels and make a conscious choice to actually support healthy aging. The reviewer notes they'd be more than happy to share more if anyone is curious. I highly encourage you to reflect on your own habits, keep learning, and really think about how you're investing in your cellular health. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.